If you need help with practicing your writing skills, check out these workbooks that can be useful in improving your academic writing skills. The link is in the description below. Knowing how to use punctuation correctly in your writing is really important. Let's take a look at how we need to use commas, colons, and semicolons in your writing. First, let's talk about how commas are used. Commas are used in lists, compound sentences, and inserted phrases. These are the most common ways that commas are used. So let's look at each one of these uses. First, let's look at how we use commas when we need to write a list in a sentence. Here's an example. I need to buy apples, bananas, and oranges. You can see here that there are 3 things in the list: apples, bananas, and oranges. Now, in the United States, we need to use a comma after each word. But in the UK, you do not need the last comma between bananas and oranges. Now, both styles are correct, but you will need to choose the correct style depending on what country you are in or are writing an essay for. Now, here's another example. He traveled to Germany, Switzerland, and France during his summer vacation. Again, you can see the 3 words are separated by commas. And we do the same thing if the list includes short phrases like this. He decided he wanted to read his book, take a short nap, and then begin his homework. Using a comma between words in a list in a sentence is very common. Please be careful and use these commas when you write a list in a sentence. Another place that we use a comma is when we write compound sentences. Now, in this example, he enjoyed many parts of France, but his favorite was Paris. Here we have 2 simple sentences. The first sentence is, he enjoyed many parts of France. And the second sentence is, his favorite was Paris. Now, the 2 simple sentences have been connected together by using a comma and then the word but. Here's another example. The tickets were expensive, so I was not able to afford it. Again, we have 2 simple sentences that are connected by a comma and the word so. So be sure to add a comma when writing compound sentences with words such as but and so. One more way that we use commas in sentences is with inserted phrases. Now, in this sentence, the profits for the year, which were better than last year, were a welcome experience. You can see the commas used between the phrase, which were better than last year. Now, you need to have a comma before the phrase and after the phrase. The commas show that this information has been added to the main sentence. The profits for the year were a welcome experience. Let's look at another sentence. The company president, Mr. Smith, was away on a business trip. Here we have the words Mr. Smith between commas. We could also write the sentence in this way. Mr. Smith, the company president, was away on a business trip. When you add a phrase into a sentence, be sure to put a comma before and after the phrase, as in the example above. One warning about using commas. Do not use a comma to connect 2 sentences. Often students connect 2 sentences with a comma, but in English we cannot do this. Now, this may be something that can be done in another language, but in English we cannot connect 2 sentences with a comma. Now, in this example, the first sentence is, the profits for the year were better than last year. And the second sentence is, the company will be able to expand in the future. Now, because these are 2 complete sentences, we cannot connect them with a comma. We need to write the two sentences as separate sentences and put a period after the first sentence. Here's one more example. The company president was away on a business trip. He will be back next week. We again have two sentences here that have been connected with a comma. This needs to be written in two sentences with a period after the first sentence. Be careful that you don't use the comma in this way in your writing. Now let's talk about how to use the colon. The colon is used when you want to bring attention to something such as words, a list, or an idea. You do not capitalize the first word after the colon. Let's look at an example. The company required the following things: a business card, a phone number, and an email address. Now, writing this sentence in this way brings attention to the three things that the company required. You can see there is no capital A after the colon. Now, this is a good technique to use in your essay writing when you want to emphasize certain information. Sometimes in especially a longer essay, you'll find the following style. The three phrases will be listed below the first part of the sentence. Now, this emphasizes even stronger the three things that are listed. This is an effective way of bringing attention to the topics that you're discussing in your essay. One warning about using the colon. Do not use a colon after a verb. Here's an example. I need apples, bananas, and oranges. And you do not want to use a colon after a verb such as need. Now, it would be correct if you added these words before the colon. I need the following from the store: apples, bananas, and oranges. One more way that the colon is often used is in a business letter. Now, this is not something you would use in an essay, but may be of interest to you. So, Dear Mr. Smith. Now, this would be how you would start your letter. There is one more way that we can use the colon. When quoting someone, follow the colon with the quotation marks and capitalize the first word. Here's an example. The company president made the announcement. Our profits for this year have surpassed last year's. Thank you for your hard work. Put the colon before the quotation marks in the sentence. Now, these are the basic ways that a colon can be used in your writing, so be sure to try using some of these. Now let's talk about the semicolon. A semicolon connects two simple sentences together. Now, a semicolon is stronger than a comma, but less final than a period. And when using a semicolon, the sentences need to be related to each other. Let's look at this example. The company president was away on a business trip. The decision would have to wait until he returned. Now you can see the two sentences that are in this compound sentence that is connected by a semicolon. This is the correct way to connect two related simple sentences. Now, earlier we said do not connect two sentences with a comma, but using a semicolon is one way to connect two related simple sentences. Here's one more example. Water pollution has become a worldwide problem. Something needs to be done to address it. Again, we have two simple sentences connected by a semicolon. Using the semicolon is an effective way of writing, but be careful not to use this too often in your essay. One or two sentences of this style of writing is effective, but you don't want to overuse this pattern. I hope this has helped you to learn how to use commas, colons, and semicolons in your writing. Punctuation is important, but use it correctly. Happy writing! And be sure to check out my workbooks that are designed to be used along with these videos.